Hey guys, it's Turok. In this video, I'm going to be recording a review of chapter 1144 of One Piece. Finally getting around to this. I been way behind, and wait a minute. So, anyways, we're having the last chapter because I read this a few days ago. No, so things are really starting to heat up in Wano. Wano, heat up. Things are heating up, but they're happening in Elbaf now. Loki's literally started a fire here with using what's his weapon called? Ragnir? Hi, kitty. My kitties want to go outside, but I'm trying to record this and they keep wandering away. Sorry. Let me think. So we learned a little bit about what's going on from the perspective of the Gods Knights. They are causing havoc here, too. And it's like, no, Loki's causing problems. They're causing problems. They have kidnapped some of these children using Killington's ability, which has some kind of sleeping ability. And at the same time, he can draw into people's dreams and bring out their worst fears. I gotta get So I'm just combobulating. I came in with the catch. So the what is going on here? Oh, okay, I gotta do this. The Gods Knights, yes. So between Killingham and Summers, they're causing trouble to the gods for the giants, and because so the whole goal seems to be that to bring the giants, the nation of Elbaf under their control, and so they're going in this weird roundabout way of just causing all kinds of chaos. So in the end of 42, we saw these monsters show up that Angie, one of the teachers, pointed out was the what does she teach again? I know there was, we had the gym teacher. Oh yeah, math teacher was Blade. And there was a guy named Tusk as the principal. And there was the gym teacher was, that was Wolf. and Wolf is the one that, he tried to stop the children and got harmed severely by the, what Summers is doing is he can create a rose vine type things. I'm assuming rose vine. I'm assuming I know other bushes and things can make thorns, but I'm just assuming roses because he likes talking about rose. Did he have a rose? I think he had a rose motif. And so he's his power, by the way he's activating it, is preventing anyone from being able to stop the children by force. And the only thing that was bothering me, and I know I already brought this up, was that he, if these are devil fruit abilities, what you need is to use a lot of hockey to negate it, or at least touch that. The thorns are around the children like a shield, although they appear to be invisible until someone tries to touch them. And he, so Wolf, the gym teacher, tried to stop him that way, and then we saw Saul do the same thing. And so anyways, they're trying to cause havoc with this, like I said, the Gods Knights. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself on track. And then with the fire that Loki caused is actually close by to the school. And then Killingham started, well, actually, no, that's what Gunko's power is kind of helping. Killingham just has them walking in a line. While he has them sleepwalking, and they're lined up in a line, and like I said, Summers is keeping people from stopping it. And then Gunko had an arrow thing directing them and taking them toward the fire that Loki caused. I don't think they realize it's Loki that's done it. They're just taking advantage of the situation. And so we got that happening. And then I know the other Straw Hats eventually started realizing there's something going on. The Jarl and Usopp and Nami are the ones we were seeing the most at the party. They're still at the party, and they start hearing about the fire because one of the teachers had the horn, and he used it to notify the others. I think it was that math teacher, Mr. Blade, did it. So everything's starting to assemble. The firemen came out. They're trying to stop this. Also, those creatures are starting to rain havoc everywhere in the forest on the sun level. People thought at first it was the maybe creatures. And then the last thing we learned we saw Loki. So Loki was bluffing, though. He couldn't maintain his strength. He ended up collapsing. He was hoping to trick them into letting him escape. And no, he collapsed. And then Gerd was there, so she's had some medical supplies with her, and they're trying to help him recover. And the last thing we learned with him is we got some kind of... he doesn't elaborate, unfortunately, in these next 2 chapters that came up, but he's got something going on. There's something going on where he's kind of hinting at that he did kill their father, Harold. Him and Harudans have the same father. He did kill the father, but he says something cryptic which suggests that he had a good reason for it. So we'll see what that is. Hopefully in the next chapter. So sorry, yeah, long recap. I'll just stuff on that recap. So that's like the recap. Now we get to, where is it now? First actually I gotta do the cover story. So I have it over here on this other screen. In the cover story here, we get to this Yamato freeing, she took out who's who in the last one, and then we see her in that same building with with other of his lackeys all knocked out, and we see her free, what's her name? Otama, right? Frig, I always forget which one's which again. Do this every time. Yeah, it's Otama. I always mix up their names, Otama and Otoko. Which one is which? Otoko's the other girl who ate a small fruit with the pink hair. Otama is this girl, I saw the same age. She's got the purple hair, and she ate a fruit where she can make those little mochi. Is it mochi? No, mochi. She makes a food, and if zones eat it, weak-willed zone users eat it, she can control them. And this one just shows her and that carpenter that Frankie was working for were both captured, and Yamato's freeing them. So I suspect that cover story is going to be coming to an end now. We're just going to see Otama, because it was like this little mystery that started in the second half of this story. The first one was just her traveling around. We saw her meet with some other people. I think she was with Dogstorm? One of the other retainers of Momonosuke from Zou. And she was there doing all this stuff like that. And then this last 10 or so more cover story panels has just been her finding out about these people being kidnapped. So anyways, that's good. So now we switch, but now I'm going to get to the story, because now we switch to something here. We get something really interesting here that Oda, I don't know how much I'll elaborate on in this arc, because so much shit's starting to happen now with the Gods Knights and that. But we come back to Frankie and Ripley, and they're at this rundown building that's built into one of the trees. And so Ripley's like escorting Frankie. Why is she doing that again? Because they're still like new there. They probably don't trust him. He has to have an escort. What it was something like that. And so, anyways, she wait a second. Is this working? Yeah, it is. Okay. She takes him to this building here, and we just see this stuff. We see all. We mostly just can see like the framework of whatever it is like, it looks almost like it's been melted. Like maybe a fire occurred here. But it's still sitting there, and the important thing about it's going to come up in a minute. There's something interesting here that about it. But I'm trying to hint at this. So Ripley's like, "Oh, what do you think?" So Frankie's first like, "Wait a minute, what is this? What is going on here? I never could imagine like something like this would be in Elbaf." And so she it's like, "What do you think it is?" Well, he says like, "It looks like his quote is pure science to me." And, wow, she's rather short for a giant, isn't she? I'm seeing her next to Frankie, and she's only like 3 of him tall. So that means she's only... Yeah, I guess some of the giants can be short. I always think of the giants as being close to like 100 feet. I think Dory and Brocky were like that. They seem like that, So Ripley's like, yeah, I guess it looks like it is, and I figured someone like you would appreciate this. These I guess are essentially ruins. And Frankie's like, well, and yeah, what the hell's a place like Deuce doing in a nation like yours? Um, so we'll get the answer here in a second. With we see Lilith and Bonnie pop out. They're up high. They're up there somewhere in the building, in the ruins, I'll call it. And Lilith's like, oh, Frankie, there you are. I'm glad you found this place. I was planning on telling you about it. This is amazing. Oh, actually, that's Bonnie that says that. Like, Frankie, look at this place. It's really cool. Also, by the way, it's really cute still that Bonnie is still staying in her child form again. She's not doing the adult form. I know I mentioned this a few chapters back or so. And then Frankie's like, oh, guys, how did you find this place? And then Lilith's like, well, actually, we just got lost. And Bonnie's like, yeah, we're glad someone else came around. We wouldn't have been able to find our way back to the village. And Frankie's just like, wow, I guess even a genius can be bad at directions. Wait, why did I got this thing on my glasses? And then Ripley's like, I'm glad we ran into you. It sounds like there's some kind of problem in the woods, so we want to make sure everyone's safe. And Lilith's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But listen, this is amazing here. My estimation, I think this building's been here for nearly 3,000 years. Or no, at least 3,000 years. And Frankie just like blows his mind. I'm surprised Oda didn't give like a close-up of his face about how surprising that would be. But he's like, wait a minute, do you know how ancient that makes this sound? And Ripley's like, this sounds like a good enough answer to me of the age. We have no record of what this building is for here in Elbaf. Like, holy shit. So we have to stop there a second. I know someone else did a video on it. I forgot. I didn't want to watch it because I want to record this. I'll watch it after. Teching did it. It's the one I want to watch. But so far in this arc, we have had very limited information about the past, because that's part of the stuff the world government's covering up. Then this is probably linked to Laughtel. And it really burns me. I know what Oda's trying to do. He wants us to go on the journey with the Straw Hats to learn it from their perspective. But if I was in the One Piece world, I would have Rayleigh tell me right now what he found. And I still would like change my mind and stuff later. It's just that what Oda is doing it through what he did with Rayleigh is like Rayleigh would be like telling his version of what he's learned and stuff. And like it can depend on what kind of person is teaching you something or telling you a story on changing your perspective. So Oda is purposely having it done that way, where we're gonna follow along and learn this through the eyes of the Straw Hats, as like we're back seating with them. Hold on a second. But we have to stop there and like think about this. Like up until this point, all we know about as far as history going back is that there's something called the Void Century, and right before that there was another ancient kingdom that was crushed in a war with the 20-country alliance. That we only know of Alabasta and Dressrosa being part of that, because Lily and Doflamingo are descendants of those families that did that. And that'd be interesting too someday if I wouldn't really matter. But now we know a little bit about Lily's ancestor that was in the alliance, but we don't know about Doflamingo's, and his family was part of the alliance too. And then they went up to Marijois, and Lily's family didn't. Well, that's right. Not Lily. Vivi, excuse me. I've been saying Lily. Lily is the ancestor. Vivi is the one I'm talking about, who is Lily's the ancestor. Vivi's our Straw Hat member who's with Morgan right now, and Vivi, we know Vivi, Lily. That's what I was gonna say. Lily is the great something. How many generations aunt to Vivi and Cobra. Her, their, their. It was Lily's brother that ended up taking the throne because we don't something happened to Lily, and when she returned to when she was gonna make a trip back to um, Alabasta after the war had, I'm guessing like things had settled down too, but it was probably like an excuse because we know Eames said that Lily's the one who had the um, poneglyphs dispersed, and but maybe she was just going to Alabasta to check in on her brother. She never made it. Anyways, I'm getting off way on a tangent. The timeline: 900 years ago, the war started, and there's an ancient kingdom, and it seemed that the claim was more advanced. Maybe this has something to do with the devil fruits. Anyways, 3,000 years ago, this building's been from some civilization that had set up shop here. And the way Frankie's describing it, you only get that little line, makes it sound like this could have been some kind of lab outpost or something like that. Something very, well, he makes it out like it's very advanced. Because actually, when you look at it, there's some odd windows. Actually, that looks like one thing looks more like a ventilation shaft of some sort, and the other looks like a window maybe. But again, it's overgrown now with weeds and whatnot there. And anyways, the only other thing we have as a reference about age is that was it the tree on O'Hara? This tree too, obviously. This is an Adam tree, and there's supposed to be more of those. And I think the one, was it the Eden tree? The one in O'Hara was like, it's like, one of them was like 5,000, or was 5,000 years old. So these trees live extremely long lives, and that's why the giants here set shop here, homes on the tree. Actually, I was just thinking, it's really interesting that I wonder how. I was thinking, wasn't it Chopper that had been in that country? I forget what Blue Kuma sent him to, and there was like a tribe of people he hung out with for the 2 years, and they had a nice library, and I think they were up in trees too. I was just thinking, it's interesting that the Albathian giants only live in a giant tree life like this. It just feels like I think I wouldn't. I like forests a lot, but I don't know if I'd want to live in one like this all the time. When there's no rivers, well, there's water and stuff. It's interesting. It's like a giant tree, but there's some of the other things going on here. And it's like when they are in the if they go down to the world below, but that place is more dangerous. Then it's like mountains, but it's all snow and stuff all the time. It looks like. Anyway, where was I? The timeline. Yeah. So now we have some hint about some people, and this is not a giant building either. This is no, those stairs look rather huge, but I can't tell what the doors are. I was wondering if it might be humans or giants that lived here. Maybe both, because the staircase. We see a staircase where Ripley and Frankie are standing in front of it, and this looks like stairs made for a giant. So maybe the giants had ancestors that were very advanced and hung out with like the ancient kingdom and stuff like that. So there's a lot there to unpack, and that's all I can think of to say about it now. So so Lilith goes on to say, "Oh, this place isn't so neat. I think I'll just make this my place to set up the lab, and set up and live here." And Frankie's like, "Sure, you won't get lost." Is he messing with her? Wait a minute here. Anyways, Frankie goes, "Hey, can I come inside and look too?" But then things get changed up. Bonnie starts screaming and pointing behind them, like there's something there. And then it switches to we see a creature. It looks like a thundercloud with an evil look on it. It's got eyes and mouth, and it's walking on lightning bolt. It has lightning bolts for legs. It's kind of like a spider or a bug. It's only like 4 legs though. And we get a panel saying, "Is that supposed to be for Frankie?" And it's like, "What I'm afraid of, lightning." Um, and Frankie doesn't blink. He doesn't realize there's something off yet. He's like, Elbaf, the land of mystery and wonder, but this? And then Ripley's like, this is not natural. No, I have never seen anything like that. Like, because, they know all about probably all those different monsters that come down from, that live in the underworld. That's what we saw Angie and Tusk and Saul and some of the others, assuming that snake thing that tried to attack the children was one of a beast from down there. But so we switch from that though. We don't know how they start fighting it. Also, this thing is enormous. We get a scale of it. It's like several times taller than Ripley is, and she's a decent height too. I'm guessing Ripley's about 40 to 45 feet tall, and she's like, no, I have no idea what this is. And also, does she have a weapon with her? Frankie's, he looks like he starts running away from it to give some distance, and then we just switch from that there, and now we switch to the village, and the skeleton monster that I mentioned, it's one of the Draugr is showing up there, and we get a panel again. Oda's putting these panel. It's not a regular panel. It looks like he's doing it in a way where this one says what I'm afraid of, the Draugr. He's doing that. He's drawing it around it like it's a parchment, like a old school looking paper. It's got edges where it looks like it's some kind of paper. I'm gonna say like parchment. I always think about it how they show it like the Harry Potter movies. So everyone starts rallying a bit. We see some people yelling to each other, guys, sober up, grab your weapons, we're being invaded, type thing. An intruders, and who's that? The firefighting, and then some people are saying, what about the firefighters? We saw them go down. Oh yeah, this thing attacked the firefighters, I think, in the last chapter, right? Let me go back and look a second. The good thing about why I have this set up here is I can go faster with my arrows. Yeah, he knocked them out. They were going out the fire. They had this larger like rowboat type thing, that the ones that float in the cloud. But it was like it probably was supposed to be painted red like a fire engine. It even had ladders and things. And yeah, the Draugr knocked it down. Let me go back now. And so, and then some people are like saying, "What's going on? Why is these look like things from a kid's dreams?" And some of them start saying, "Where are the captains?" Meaning Dory and Bragi. And it says, "Oh, they drank too much. They had to go to the bathroom." So they're trying to get, rally, have people take command and start, delegating. Hey, you go over here, do this, and you go over this, evacuate the people. Oh, we get a joke here. I forgot that. So we switch to Broken's like, that's odd. It's like a skeleton. Is this supposed to be like a bigger version of me? Did he die too and come back with the revived fruit? So someone says one of these giants goes up to where the Straw Hats are. They're sitting on this table where they were able to talk with the others, and he's like, "Quick!" And I don't know if he says or someone said it to him, but this one giant, someone says, take the visitors, and get them to safety." And so one guy comes up and he's gonna say, "Hold on, you little guys! I'm gonna pick up the whole desk." And Usopp's like, well, wait, we'll help out too. Don't treat us like we're a little kid with kid gloves. And then Jinbei says to him, "You said that awfully quiet, didn't you?" Meaning like Usopp. So Usopp's trying to put on a brave face again, but he'd rather get the safety as usual. That's just how Usopp is, though. And then Jinbei continues commenting, well, whatever, something's weird going on, isn't it? This doesn't seem normal for Elbaf. Hold on a second. Oh, that's right. So we hear as this conversation was going on with Jinbei and the giant, Nami, we hear someone saying, "No, Colin, you can't." And we see Colin, Ripley's son, Scarborough and Ripley's son. He's walking up to somebody, another warrior. He's like, "I want to help out too. I'm a warrior. Oh, this guy's a little brusque with him, unfortunately. This giant's like, you can't. Go hide with the other kids. And he's like, well, I'm the son of Gaban. I was like, yeah, but you're not Gaban. And, you're a kid. And the next panel, he, like, pushes Colin away. He's probably drunk, so he's not trying to be mean purposely, I think, but he, like, pushes Colin in such a way that Colin is knocked onto his back. And he's like, just go find the other kids and get to safety, okay? So that was kind of cold. But again, he's like, I don't think he's trying to be mean, but it's like, okay, we don't have time to babysit. He's trying to say, I want you to be safe. Get out of here. And so we switch back to the kid, the Straw Hat, excuse me. And Nami goes, Yarrow, I need to tell you something. I'm sorry we didn't bring this up, but there's something important you must know. And we get a little tiny time lapse where she's telling them about how the guards mentioned seeing two weird people in the castle and one that looked like Shanks. And okay, wait. We actually go to the part. The giant. No, she didn't tell herself. We're at the area where Gerd was treating those two guards. I'm sorry, and the guards are telling Jarl here. Oh my God, Jarl is huge. Look at it. So I gotta stop here a sec. We see this little outdoor gazebo thing. It's this area where she was treating them, and those two giant guards are sitting there, and Jarl is just like, he's like 4 times taller looking than them. Holy shit. So he's there with 2 other guys too. There's the 2 bandaged guards, and then 2 other warriors there, and he's questioning them about the story. So the guys are like, yeah, we saw one that looked like red hair, and he had a partner with them, and they used really strange powers. So and some of the Straw Hats must be here because we switched to Jinbei, maybe him and Nami probably, and he's like, that sounds like something that's likely some kind of weird devil fruit. And he also points out this stuff that seems to be going on with with these weird things popping out is not, since it's so unusual even to you. I'm guessing it's another devil fruit power. One of those devil intruders using a weird devil fruit power to start this chaos. And so Jarl immediately starts taking charge, and so good on Jarl. He's got this giant sword sticking in his head. But he's the chief, and he still looks like he's got it as far as taking charge. And he tells one of the other 2 guys that are standing with him, inform the other, making how do I say? I'm trying to think of a modern term. He says, tell the entire country, like get a message out to everyone. There are 2 intruders in here who are humans and that are not part of the Straw Hat crew. Tell me, and then he says, when you find, if you hear anything about where they are, report back to me immediately. And Brooke's like, do you really think it's just the 2 of them could be enough to cause all this strange phenomenon? Perhaps we should be more careful. There could be more of them. So good on Brooke. He's like realizing there's something weird going on. There's probably just only 2 that have been seen. This is why I like having characters like Brooke and Jinbei around too. It's always so good to have characters that really think like there's something else going on. We have to be prepared for anything. So then the other Straw Hats all come together and talk like, what do you think's going on here? And stuff. And Nami's like, I don't care who they are. They're stealing, kidnapping kids in broad daylight. They're despicable. Let's help the giants stop these assholes. And then Usopp asks a good question, brings up a good point, like, why would they steal kids, Elbathian kids? What kind of demands do you think they want to have that they would do such a terrible thing? I've never, and I think he said, I've never heard of an abduction like this. And Jarl's overhearing this. He's like, we will not let that come to pass in the first place. And Jinbei's like, well, please let us help you. Give us a ship and someone to move us around. We'll aid you as much as we possibly can. And Jarl's like kind of offended by this, but not like a bad way. He's like saying, oh, nonsense. We can handle this. You're our guests. Please just stay safe. I guess it's kind of like they would feel guilty. The way he's saying that, he'd feel guilty if the Straw Hats got hurt trying to help them. And then at the last panel, this bit shows or not this bit, yeah, it's this conversation. Yaro's like looking around and he talks to the other guard. There's still another guy who's staying right with him. The other one ran off to start the message about the intruders. He's like, wait a minute, did you see where Dorian Bragi went? And he's like, oh, I think they're still in the bathroom, Chief. And Yaro's like, oh, what a bunch of lightweights. Implying he can, they drink, it's probably his size. Yarl is so large. His alcohol consumption is probably really good compared to everyone else. And so he's saying, oh, those guys are just lightweights. Even though, like, from what I was trying to say earlier, I think Dorian Bragi are also quite a bit larger than some of the other giants around here, especially like Ripley. Maybe it's just like the men are the taller one, the women. You know how it goes. And hold on a second. I want to actually pull up Dorian Bragi, and I keep forgetting who is who because I'm gonna. Which one is which again? Dory's the tall one, right? Yeah, Dory's the tall one. So the next bit here is okay. So we get back to the Straw Hats after Jarl has left, and so we got Jinbei. It's Jinbei, Usopp, Brook, and Nami together. So wait, that's where they are. So I have to stop a second, check where the Straw Hats. So those four are there, and then we got Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro down below, and Brook. No. Who am I missing? Frankie and Nami. That's right. Oh yeah, Chopper and Robin are with Saul. Right. So these are the four together because we got the three down below. We got two are with Saul and Frankie's with Ripley. Right. And these three, they're like having a little meeting here. The four, Jinbei and the others. And he's like, if these guys are human sized, we probably would have an easier time finding them. And Usopp says, exactly. Let the big guys fight the big guys. We'll search for the intruders. That makes sense, but the way Usopp is saying that, I think he's just like saying, I don't want to get involved fighting the big guys and get killed. But at the same time, that makes sense. To me, I would be the same way. Hey, let's look around. We might spot these people. The giants are going to get preoccupied, fighting the fire, evacuating, and fighting the creatures. And Brooks says, that's a good idea, but we have a problem. Elbaf is so huge. How are we going to be able to cover it ourselves and try and spot these intruders? So they turn and they see Colin nearby, and he's pulling. There's a boat there, and he's pulling this huge bag. It looks like it has weapons sticking out of it. And he's like, hey, guys, you're not going to stop me, right? If you want, you can ride with me, and we'll get out there and look for these to help out. And then he's like, and I don't know if they nod or something, but he's like, okay, then I'm the new captain. So he wants to take charge. He really wants to help, and he's being very earnest. But I just hope he doesn't get hurt. And Nami just is like, oh, he's so adorable because she sees like what he's trying to do. But they almost in a way, yeah, they take advantage of this situation because they had asked Jarl in the previous part a little bit ago, hey, can you loan us one of those boats and we'll help search around and have someone go with us because they can't operate it. And now they're doing that with Colin. He's oh, but here's the problem. So the next shot, the boat's going up. And Colin's like, yeah, this is like my first adventure. We're off. On to adventure. Man the oars, Colin pirates. But it's like, and Usopp points out, like, dude, you're the big one here. You have to operate the oars. We can't do this properly. Oh, good gracious, Colin. This is inevitable, though, because we saw when we met Colin at the end of Elbaf, not Elbaf, at the end of Egghead, he was down there with that bar talking about Shanks trying to get him to let Shanks join his crew. The thing too with that was that would never have worked because Shanks' ship is pretty big by our standards, but it would never be anywhere to house a giant. He'd have to have like a little tent outside on like the main deck area, or even that one might, yeah, even on like the sunny as well. It's like the only way he could sleep there, there'd be no way to get him to have a giant even of his size. And like he's a child and he's only like something like, I want to say like 30 feet tall. Actually, if he's that tall, Ripley's much taller than. But the scaling in here, I think Otis is making the scaling a little tricky for me to guess. So now we get to that. So that one giant Jarl sent off got somewhere, and we switched first, but we see excuse me. We see Gunko, and she's sitting there relaxing at the table, listening to music on headphones. But we get panels showing the message is getting out for that about their intrusion, saying a message to all Sunworld, humans unrelated to Straw Hats have intruded. Report immediately. Oh no, they have demonstrated hostility. They're considered armed and dangerous type thing. So while that's happening, we get back in here to a conversation with the three of them are like finishing up their meal, which was like just this dream stuff that Killingham did. Was it Killingham or Killington? Wait, shoot, now I got that wrong, I think. Wait, let's see. No, it was Killingham, excuse me. I'm getting Summers and Killing. Yeah, okay. So we switched to oh, who's texting me? We switched here to the conversation, as I said. Sorry, I had someone text me. And so Summers says to he says it like aloud. Oh, look, it's Gunko's post-meal ritual. And oh yeah, she's kind of like singing along with it. So we'll probably have to. They'll probably have a little bit of sound. You can hear a little sound coming out of the headphones. And she's like, it's not a ritual. I just like doing it. So what's going on here is Summers is like, because he's the older guy here. He's probably in his 60s, 70s. It's basically having it where like, oh, the kids stay with these headphones around their ears. Why do you need to do that all the time? And so Summers is like, I would rather just listen to a live performance. And then he gets, I think, yeah, is that what he's saying? He's like, and whoever flubs a note first, oh, right, bang. He's being, now you can see where he seems almost likable in some ways, but this is where he's showing, bang is meaning, okay, I got it. He's saying when he'll listen to a live performance of some choir orchestra, but he's gonna have a gun there, and if someone fucks up, he's gonna kill them. It's just like this messed up. When we saw Kuma's flashback and him and his father were together, and Kuma was telling Kuma's dad, Kuma Senior, right? No, Bartholomew. Is Bartholomew his first name? I'm gonna say Kuma Senior. It's easier. Kuma Senior was telling him about the sun dance and the sun god, and then that celestial dragon who had them as a slave. He came out and just pointed a gun and shot Kuma Senior in the head. So he's saying the same thing. He's showing like he's the same way where like, oh, if you piss me off, you messed up something in some way that just displeases me or inconveniences me in any way, I'm just going to pull a gun out and shoot at you. But he continues saying, well, it is nice to have a hobby to carry around with you. But what song is this that you're listening to all the time? And so she says, oh, it's called New World. And he just laughs. Oh, why? Do you got a problem with the one we already live in? And that's an interesting thing. It's like, yeah, that's something too. So I'm getting the idea here that Gunko is the kind of person who would be similar to the Gorosei, where they were talking about, oh, we gotta like purge this world soon. It's getting too messy here. And Killingham speaks up and says, "Oh, stop making fun of other people like that, Summers." And then he says, "Look, well, look," and Summers like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And Killingham and said, "Look over here. Look, those adults are now trying something new. Let's see what they'll do now to stop the children." So we get to wait a second. Oh, wait, am I in the right one? Yeah. Yeah, so we get to we go back to Saul, and he's down there, and Robin and Chopper are with him, and so he's got an idea where he's pulled out two of those small round shields, and said, "This will help me." And he's planning on he's standing right in front of the children with the shields in front of him like this, each arm, and he's like, "This might help stop them." And we got Robin and Chopper saying, "Good luck, Saul." And so he's figured out, and he says aloud here, "I see what's going on. You're following this cloth thing, but I have to stop you here because it's taking you right toward the fire." Uh, all right, let's see what happens here. I gotta reread this. Jeez, where was I? Sorry to step away. Sure, guys. So at this point, we got Saul tries. What Saul tries to do is he takes the shoot. He takes the shield and he's at the front of the line of the children walking toward the fire, and he's trying to stop them. But what happens is he pushes I think there was that girl. What was her name? Yeah, Slav. Oh shoot, let me get here. Come on, Scully. Is that her name? Okay. Anyway, she walks into it and it stops. But what happens is there's a boy behind her, and the thorns pop out around both of their bodies. But what happens to her too, actually. The thorns, each other's thorns, kind of like, I think, are pushing into each other essentially. And I didn't notice at first, because it's more obvious for his face because he's kind of like ugh. And but her too, they both like scream a bit because the thorns are like hurting each other. And then Saul's like, oh, "No, I didn't want to do that." And he's all like apologetic in the next panel, like, "No, oh God, are you kids okay? I'm so sorry." And then he's like, how do we do this saw? If we push into each other, they all stop. They'll just hurt each other. And so Robin and Chopper are still there too. And like Robin's comments like, "Yeah, this is completely sadistic." And Robin starts to Saul, Saul, I think we have to do something else. We have to find the person who's doing this and make him turn off the power. Turn off what they're doing." And I think is that Saul saying that or Chopper? One of them says like, "But we don't even know if they're nearby." And Saul's like, "I get that, but they're getting too close to fire now. And then if they could walk right in it while we're searching, I have to try anything I can from here." So he next week pulls out a lasso, and he starts swinging it, like cowboy style, I guess you could call it. And he's like, "Since I can't stop it from the front, let me try from the back." And he takes the lasso and he finds the last kid in line named Bjorn, and he says, and wraps it around him, and this appears to work. It wraps around Bjorn. We see the thorn things come out, but I don't think he's not screaming. Unfortunately, they got a new problem. As he does that, the wolf, what did I call him before in the other video? They're being conjured. Hold on. Oh God, where was I? People keep calling me. I'm trying to record. Oh, okay, yeah. The Fenrir. Oh, that's what I was gonna look up. Hold on. Actually, I can't remember the word. I was trying to look up. I forgot how I called it. So the Fenrir, thing. I had a word for it. It's gonna come to me later. it shows up here starts crawling up. It looks like out of the woods into the tree branch where Saul and the others are, and and that's where we end off. Um, and it's like Saul and the others are like, "What the hell? Is this thing coming now?" Because they see me stopping the trying to stop the children. I think that is because what did it say? Killingham. Yeah, because Killingham a couple pages ago saw Saul is watching Saul. They're watching with the children, and they want to make sure these children are gonna end up dying. And it's just so, you know what's messed up too is Killingham looks so. The knight named Killingham looks so nonchalant about this. He doesn't care. You can tell Summers is enjoying this, and in a way, it's like more natural to me to think, oh yeah, he's an asshole, so he likes this, and he's laughing at it. But Cunningham's just kind of, yeah, he just looks kind of calmly, like he's calmly looking to Summers, saying, hey, look, one of the adults, they're trying something new to stop the children. Like he doesn't give a shit. He's like, what? That stuff like that is almost more annoying sometimes. Like you want to seem like Summers, and like, yeah, that makes more sense. So we get back to the school and we see Angie and Tusk, the principal. They're like, she's like, says to Tusk, I've just found out this is not just happening here in the Western Village. Other villages are saying that there's monsters appearing everywhere and attacking all over Elbaf. No, all over, yeah. And he's like, all over Elbaf? And then he's like, yes, this must be a devil fruit ability then. We have to identify the culprit right away in order to stop it at the source. And she's like, yeah, I totally agree. And we switch back to village, outside the western village, and we see some of the warriors have, rallied together, and they're fighting one of these things. And they brought it down. They brought one down, but you see, like, they're fighting it, and one guy's down and injured, and then one person's like, oh, we finally got it. But you can tell, like, look, they're out of breath. And the other guy, one guy, and his companion says, but druggers aren't actually supposed to exist. And he's like, what are we going to do how are we going to stop these things if they keep appearing? It took all of us just to stop one of these things. And then we see other people saying, get the wounded, hurry, get them to the village. So there's like so much shit happening in this one. Woo! There's just too much here. Hold on, I gotta get my coffee with all this happening. So what do we have next? So we're getting close to the end though, and we see. Wait, yeah. Let's see. Am I in the right spot? Yeah. So we see this the dragon, the lightning dragon comes out and starts attacking them. Nidgar, yeah. Yeah, and then him, and we see, yeah, Nidgor. I'm gonna have to look this up. I think that was the one I said was in. I think God of War 2018 had that as a boss. And so that thing's coming out, and then the ghost thing is coming to reinforce it. And then what we're seeing here is that so this dragon one especially is showing that despite them being conjured out of the dreams of the children, out of dreams, they're very dangerous. And we see this thing shooting lightning and making the attack, harming some of the warriors. And then the next panel is him and the ghost coming into the village, and some of the giant warriors are like, it's no use, we can't keep them out of the village. And some of the villagers are like, I think they're saying to the villagers, run, flee from here, retreat. We don't. So they're trying to now get some of the people to retreat and get away out of safety because they were trying to hold these things out in the forest. But they were struggling just to fight the Draugr, and but we get this great panel, and as everything's going to chaos, hell in a handbasket there, Dory and Bragi finally show up, and in this last panel, they come out, they just like, ready, Dory? Yes, Bragi, and they get their weapons together, and they use their Hakugu sovereignty, and they take out. This is like their hockey blast thing. I'm thinking this is pretty much what similar to what Big Mom Kaido also used against the Luffy, Zoro, Kid, and the others. And this panel is just awesome. It's just they're in one of those boats, but this is like a big, huge version. I don't. They must have got it into the air. It looks like they got their pirate ship into the air, the Great Eric, and they fly in and they throw their hockey attack together, and it just acts like this giant laser cannon, and it takes out the ghost, the dragon, and another thing, the other giant thing, all in one shot. And then we see other people like, yeah, the captains are here. And then we get back to them saying, sorry for taking so long. We had to get up. We had to puke up all the drink. Man, that was such a shame, though. That's such a waste. I think that was, who says that one? That's Bragi. And then Dory's like, we'll take care of these monsters. Everyone else, help the kids and the other people get evacuate and get to safety. And then we get one more panel. First, we hear comments from the giants, and it's like, "What? Look, it's the Mountain Eater as well. The ship was unstoppable." And we just get a little panel of Scopper standing there, and he's holding a thing of alcohol in one hand and his axe in the other. It actually looks like it's the other way. His axe is in his left hand. And he's just there laughing, like, haha, this is going to be fun. End of chapter. Oh my god, this chapter is like the same number of pages as the last one, but I only recorded, well, that video at the end came a little longer, but like, I felt like that was going to be a short one, but they just like, Oda just like spent so much, this was good, but he like crammed it, because in the last chapter, we were focusing a bit more on Loki and Haruden and the others. And we saw, and that one was also the one world where we saw the God Knights. But we finally were getting back to really like seeing all the chaos being caused here by Loki and by the God's Knights, and what it's doing to the village and how they're reacting. And I was still a little disappointed though that Saul didn't do what I was thinking of. If this is a devil fruit power, I was thinking he should have used Haki to stop the thorns, to try and like pry the thorns off of them. But that his idea with the rope seemed to work, but now they got that fight that Fenrir apparition here. And wait, wrong one. So holy shit, yeah, that was a great chapter. It wasn't like the biggest thing about this chapter obviously now is also the beginning. So something, the Giants had a lab here, or some kind of home, maybe it's just an advanced home. It's not. I keep assuming it would be like a lab, because he talked about it's all sciencey, but maybe this is just an ancient home structure that was built into the tree by the Elbaf ancestors of 3,000 years ago. Maybe they were learning technology from other kingdoms. Like the ancient kingdom was the obvious one. We just know the one that was crushed by the Alliance, and the Giants had homes that were more like the Jetsons type thing, rather than they're living in these just not normal, like just wood houses, like like pre-medieval wooden structures now. So they've probably like basically it's the same thing we're seeing across the world in general. The technology that is being used is back generations from what it could be since the collapse of the ancient kingdom, or maybe other allies it had, and with the rise of the world government and its control over the world as it is. A way to kind of subjugate it all, I think, because there's something we can tell there's something up there with Eam and the powers he's delegated kind of to whoever he places in his 5-man oligarch that run the show for him. So he probably doesn't want this technology. Maybe this is the thing. I'm sure other people have already thought this too. Like maybe the devil fruits and stuff like that are just an extension of the technology that was back then, and the devil fruits are still around. They're just they perpetually reincarnate, and you can't stop that. But by not having the people advance their technology the way Vegapunk did, he's hoping to probably aim was keeping the world subjugated, it would seem. And that's probably where like Vegapunk though was coming up close to like replicating this stuff, because he made the artificial devil fruits. Like he's got the one that Momonosuke ate, and now he's able to become a zone like Kaido. And then he's got the paramecia ones that he can give to people. And we don't know if he can give it to other people. He did it with those cloned the pacifistas who are clones of the first 7 warlords. And so the thing is that we don't know if that has to be something you give them from their infancy or embryo state in order to have that devil fruit power. Because the artificial version he's creating, where each of them had that, so he gave like Boa the same. Boa just had her own. That's the thing too. When he cloned somebody like Boa, did he have to give her the green blood later, or is it if she's a clone of a person with a devil fruit? Does she just gain the devil fruit attributes, the power right away? Because we got like so that if that's true, that would be the same thing for Doflamingo and Crocodile. On the other hand, those two one's in Pell Down and one was, meaning Vegapunk would have access to the their blood anyways, and he can make samples from that and use it to create the green blood. But then at the same time, we know for sure you have to do something with Mihawk or Jinbei's, because they do not have devil fruits, and so he gave the pacifistas one. So Mr. One's got Mihawk's devil fruit, and Jinbei's got Senior Pink's. So that's the only ones, right? See, what do we think? So Boa had a fruit. Boa, Crocodile, Moria, Doflamingo, and what was the other one? Shoot, no, I can't think. And Kuma, right? And Kuma. Those 5. Only 5 of the 7 original warlords had devil fruits. And each of those, he cloned all 7 and had to give the other 2 a devil fruit. He had to, meaning like if the way I'm saying this is correct, the other 5 could have been just born with the devil fruit abilities of their original donors, so to speak. But anyways, yeah, back to the technology. Maybe Eam has some a more advanced thing like that compared that's similar to devil fruit, and he doesn't want anyone to create that again. But Doflamingo, that's exactly what Vegapunk was doing. Oops. Does that mess up while I'm recording? Oh well. That's exactly what Vegapunk has been doing, is creating artificial devil fruit abilities into weapons. Except for Logias, obviously. He still can't do Logias. But I still think, and he still couldn't create the power source that worked for, like I was saying in the other video, it's kind of weird that the Mother Flame would not work on Emmett, the Iron Giant he created. Anyways, yeah, the Giants. I'm wondering if the Giants, you can see here there's kind of like a regression, would that be the right word, of the Giants in Elbaf. They might have, this home, I'm starting to think might have been maybe it was just a normal home even, but it looks like it's multi-storied. It looks 3-storied, and it's got like built into a tree branch where like it comes into a tower look. Could have been a multi-storied advanced home for the Elbaf Giants who lived here 3,000 years ago. And that's another thing that's interesting. Is I brought this up before too with the Void Century. It's kind of interesting to think about how the Giants can live so much longer than us, but even they, due to passing of time, have lost the knowledge of records of what this is. 3,000 years ago, if every giant could live as long as Jarl, that means 3,000 years ago would be about 6 generations back from Jarl's, or 5 after him, because he's over 400 years old. So I'm just rounding close to 500, and 3,000 divided by 5, 6. So like going back that 6 generations or more, the Giants could have had this advanced home technology for living in this, using this kind of stuff, and now they're back to just living in the wooden homes with and no electricity. They only wield axes, bows and arrows, maybe swords, etc. Hand-to-hand combat, and old school way of weaponry, and they don't remember it. They don't know what this came from. So that's something. I wonder if Lilith will figure anything else out about this with this angle here. So actually, throughout this whole chapter, I also realized we didn't even see the group in the underworld. I think we get back to them in the next. Yeah, we're gonna get back to them in the next one, which I'll do a little bit in a little bit. But that was a hell of a chapter. And it's great that Scopper's come along, because now he talked to Luffy like, if nothing goes on, if no trouble comes, come talk to me. But now he sees like, no, I gotta get involved. This shit is serious. You know, his wife and child are still here. Well, it's not really his wife, but you know, he cares about her. He doesn't want her hurt. So, and his son's there, so he's getting involved, and he's joined up. So, and now we got who else? So where is everyone now? Yeah, and now the other Straw Hats have gone together with Colin to help out. We don't know where they went, but they joined up together. No, I think we're gonna find on the next one. I gotta reread it before I record it here. But so let's see. Chopper and Robin are with Saul. Frankie is with Ripley, Bonnie, and Lilith. So 1, 2, 3, 5. Wait, 1, 2, no, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And the other three, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are at the bottom. I think Oda's done that purposely as well, because they're that way now the three very best fighters, obviously Jinbei and Brook, are very competent too, but Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro are all down below, and we got the Gods Knights up there, and you know they're going to meet up with some of the Straw Hats sooner or later. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, it's interesting too that back to that technology thing. It's interesting that I wonder if that's an actual pair of headphones, like something Vegapunk made that Gunko had. She was listening to music there, and also obviously I thought it was interesting that they showed that where the Summers is the same as the other fucking Celestial Dragons, where he'll take a gun out and shoot anyone in the part of the orchestra if he's not pleased with their performance. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it today. Oh yeah, we left a cliffhanger with with Frankie and the others. I forgot. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if I don't know if Ripley had a weapon with her. I see her wearing a cloak there. They usually carry the weapons. But also, one last thing is, I was wondering if when they say what I'm afraid of, is that referencing different people at the time? I think that was. If so, I'm thinking that lightning was pointing to Frankie, and then like the Fenrir was that girl, the little girl that Saul caught. Unless it was Saul. Who did he catch? He had that little girl at the end. And he was. I was thinking of that the Fenrir or something she's afraid of. Actually, they may have showed that. Let me go back here. They had that little. No, here we go. Okay, so the boy with the goggles, and he was one of the ones that was in the front of the line. He's afraid of Nika and Fenrir. I see Angie holding Fenrir's picture, so that might have been the little girl Yelva. Oh, wait, why hell? Didn't they show her name different later? Wait, I gotta check. I think the names are mixed up. Yelva. I thought they had that different in this chapter. Let me see. Cause he's at the front. No, it is Yelva. Okay, I thought it said Selva or something. No. So Yelva was the one who looked like she's afraid of that. I think was afraid of Fenrir, the way it looked like. So yeah, it's referencing either the creatures are going to places where people are afraid of them. Actually, the Nidgor makes sense going toward the village because it's shooting lightning. It can start a fire there, so the people are probably freaking out like, oh god, this thing that we're afraid of most is fire destroying our home. So a dragon that can just cause fire, even though in this case it's shooting lightning, is still a danger to our homes and our people getting hurt. And so anyways, yeah, that's the end of the chapter. It's setting up to be really cool here. And where's next here? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks for watching.